Jones, Pro Football Hall of Famer, top 100.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
Hey, Burleson, you're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam. You're watching Norb.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this nice, beautiful Saturday here in the Pacific Northwest, at least as far as it is up here. I don't know how it is for you guys where you live. Hopefully you're having just as beautiful weather for this Halloween, spooky Halloween Eve. It's going to be interesting. First COVID Halloween. I don't know who's coming to the door. Usually we have over 100-something kids who come by, but I don't know what's going to be like this evening. It'll be interesting. But we're going to talk first. Get a little Seahawks 49ers. This is today a unique thing. We've only done this, I think, one other time, which is to do a fan panel. We've had the round table on our Wednesday shows, but this is a fan panel where select individuals, select viewers have been invited to come in here and participate and just talk Seahawks 49ers. And it's not all Seahawks fans. We do have at least one 49er fan in here. He, by way of winning the trivia contest, he actually won the last two, if I'm not mistaken, or at least two of the last few that we've done. And I'll bring all those guys in here and give them a chance to introduce themselves. But before we get into that, I just want to invite everybody to please, if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button, the subscribe button right there. As you can see, hit that little notification bell, comment, share, all that good stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's get into it here. Via Zoom, here is today's fan panel. We got 6 of them, or actually 5 people in here. Some of them have been here before. Some of them are new, but I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. So let's start. Let me adjust the shot here a little bit. There we go. Let's start at the top. We got the KC Sports Nerd. Sports Nerd, why don't you go ahead quickly, introduce yourself, and just kind of tell where they can find you in terms of on YouTube and things like that. Tell them what you're all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my name is the KC Sports Nerd. I upload NFL content on my channel, as you can see in my name down below, the KC Sports Nerd. You can find me on YouTube. I have been a little bit inactive lately. I had some pretty busy times, but I am going to try and get back on a regular schedule. But if you want to find me, I talk NFL, some NBA, other things like that. So greatly appreciate if you subscribe, and always appreciate every single support that you guys can give me.
All right, so that's the KC Sports Nerd. That's moving right along. Down below him, this would be in the creepy masks fitting for Halloween. This would be Rohan, our resident 49er fan. Rohan, congratulations, first of all, on winning the trivia. And, of course, it is a 49er Seahawks week. So thanks for being on here, man. I'm going to be interested to get your perspective on things.
All right, thank you. I don't do YouTube like the previous dude. But yeah, that's all I can say. I'll probably be multitasking during this live stream because I have college essays to do.
All right. We will keep that in mind. I know that are you still possibly going to UW? You expressed interest in going to the UW at one point. Is that still one of your schools?
The application for that school is absolutely atrocious, I would say.
Well, they're trying to weed out the not serious ones, I guess. And if you figure if you can get through it, then they're in. My alma mater, by the way. So yes, it'll be interesting to find out if you end up going to the school, which was my place. So, all right, let's continue on to his to the right of him. We've got Nick LeBeau from Bellevue, Washington. Nick, quick welcome for being here, and just give everybody a quick elevator pitch of where they can find you.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. You can find my channel, Seattle Sports Talk. Well, I have Instagram, Twitter. It's all Seattle Sports Talk. I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribed and followed me. I post Seattle sports content. So yeah, thank you.
All right. And then below in the bottom left corner, this has been a long time coming, all over my left shoulder. Cameron Hughes, he won a trivia contest. I believe he was kind of in second place for many times, finally won one, and we just haven't had the time to be able to get him on here. But finally, Cameron Hughes is here via Zoom. Glad to finally see you on camera, face-to-face. Welcome to the show, man. Where can they find you?
What's up? So my YouTube channel is just my name, Cameron Hughes. I post all Seahawks content, so yeah. All right.
Welcome to the show. And then last but certainly not least, on the bottom right corner, we've got Arav Kakad. Did I pronounce that correctly, Arav?
Yeah.
All right.
You did. I'm not on YouTube, so I don't really post content. Well, I have a channel, but I don't post content. But you can always find me on the NorbCord server. I'm my current username is We Got Dunlap 511 GT. GT is for Yu Tomioka, which is my usual Discord name. So
all right,
excited to be here.
All right, and I appreciate you being part of the Discord. The Discord is just something that's been going on the last few weeks, but it's pretty cool. The whole alternate community of people who, particularly lately, have been the ones who have been involved in the video streams during the live games. So it's been great having that group of people helping out with that and being part of it. So, all right, let's get into this. I'm just, there's no script, there's no structure to this, but I'm just it's an opportunity to debate, discuss what's coming up. This is a big game on tomorrow between the Seahawks and the 49ers. Best division in football. We've got the Seahawks at 5-1, the 49ers at 4-3. That's the difference between first and last place. 2 games, 5-1, 4-3. That is a first and fourth place separation. So there's a lot on the line here, especially since Seattle is 0-1 in the division. We really need to get a division win. I think the 49ers are 1-1 because I believe they lost to the Cardinals and they beat the Rams. So they're 1-1. We need to get evened up in this series. Let's start with Nick. And Nick, give me your take on how you feel this game's going to go tomorrow.
I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the defense is still going to have a lot of holes, especially with Shaquille Griffin out. And I think that's why I have it being the 49ers getting into the 30s and kind of like last week, our offense just trying to keep up with the lack of good defense. We brought up some guys from the practice squad. Kind of surprising we didn't bring up Damian Snacks Harrison, but we did bring up Steven Sullivan, who is kind of like a tight end, defensive end flex now. So we'll have to see how he does. We're definitely pretty banged up. Chris Carson, Carlos Hyde, all on the injury report.
There's a chance that Chris Carson and Jamal Adams are both game day decisions, so they haven't ruled them out. I would probably say they're borderline doubtful to questionable, but they have not said that they're out. So I think they're trying to wait till the very last second. Chris Carson, I know, wants to get on that field because he's in the contact year. Every game is important. And if you guys remember, Chris Carson, after getting his leg in a dirty play by the Dallas defender, twisting his leg, alligator, roll of his leg, looked like he was going to be messed up for a while. He came back and played well against the Miami Dolphins, even after that injury. So I think Carson's just going to shoot some stuff up in that that leg and get it out there, but we'll see. It'd be great if he's out there. It'd be a pleasant surprise. But Jamal Adams as well. Let's go to the other side of the coin. Let's go to Rohan in the mask. What is that mask anyway? By the way,
it's a Black Panther mask.
It is Black Panther. All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of being a VTuber here, but
it is pretty cool, man. So give me the 49er perspective. Both teams banged up. You guys came off of that big win against the Patriots, and prior to that, you also had the win against the Rams, right? So you guys are coming in pretty hot right now, but what's your feeling on how this game is going to go tomorrow? Are you optimistic about 49ers' chances of getting a win in Seattle, and why?
Well, I kind of have to say yes in the name of content. Well, as you see my name here, I said representing ER, emergency room. The Niners are a literal walking emergency room. As soon as one player comes back, 2 players get injured. Same thing happened last week with New England. I'm less concerned about the game itself as I'm concerned about any high-end players on our team getting injured right now, because that's just how bad the season's gone.
All right. Well, yeah, I know, but that's the tough thing here. I'm sure as a manager, they got to decide who are we going to force out there, because you want to still get that win when it's crucial, but at the same time, not at the expense of damaging that player for the long run. I'm sure that's why Seattle's been so careful not to rush Jamal Adams back on the field, because they gave up so much for him. The last thing they want to do is put him out for one game and then lose him for the season or something like that. So we got to be thinking big picture, playoffs, hopefully, and the stretch down the road. But at the same time, to go 0-2 against the Niners would be pretty terrible. So let's go to Cameron. Cameron, what do you think is the key to Seattle getting a win tomorrow?
I think the most obvious key is the defense. I think if we play good defense, I think it could be a blowout, because the offense is like a guaranteed 30 points. So it's just up to the defense.
So, but how do we get, that's a tall order when we haven't played good defense all year and we don't have Jamal Adams and now we're missing Shaquille Griffin. He's definitely ruled out because of the concussion and he has a hamstring issue. So how do we play good defense when we're missing A, our best corner, and then B, our best safety, and C, our D-line hasn't gotten pressure on anybody, and we have reinforcements, but they're not coming in this week. So riddle me this. How do we play good defense when we haven't done it so far, and we're missing more people than we did last week?
I would blitz, because, like, Jimmy G is not a great quarterback under pressure. So, like, week 9 last year, I would just blitz him all game. Try and get him to throw a couple interceptions, give Russell the ball back.
I had that actually was one of my keys too. I thought they need to manufacture pressure. They can't just keep doing what they're doing. They need to blitz and they need to disguise it so that they don't just see it obvious. And kind of what Arizona did to us at the end of the game. They were showing like they were going to rush 9 and they dropped 4 and then people were confused as to who they were taking. But of course, you live by the blitz, you die by the blitz because you bring too many people up, and that means big holes for those quick receivers to get out into space and get those yards after the catch, which they're very good at doing. So let's get a neutral party standpoint from the KC Sports Nerd. KC Sports Nerd at the top left. He is a Chiefs fan by default. But I'd like to get his take on how you see this game playing out as a, quote, neutral fan. Who do you think is going to win this game and why?
Well, first of all, I first got to mention that mask that Rowan's got on, man. That's like basically covering up the mask who doesn't see my shirt here from Super Bowl 54, by the way. But I had to say, who's going to win this game? It's going to be close, I think, surprisingly. I think that the injuries are playing a big part, especially with Shaquille Griffin. That's huge. I mean, if you look at just last game, that moment in the game when Trey Flowers was on DeAndre Hopkins, and I remember you saying it's going to Hopkins because literally, I think that Shaquille Griffin was the person who was going to be guarding DeAndre Hopkins, as pretty much all you were saying before. But now with him out, it's a pretty big loss because that means that I think Trey Flowers is going to have to take over and probably have to step up. And I think that's a very tall order, especially for that defense, which is already struggling. But offensively, look at the injury side of the Niners. I mean, their runners are getting injured like crazy. And as Ron's already said, they're basically like an ER because they're going down like crazy. And the other thing I have to say is when you think about it, it's always going to be high scoring, I think. And should I get my score prediction yet, or do I not?
We'll get that a little bit later, but just kind of more getting the overall ebb and flow of how this game is going to roll.
Okay. But it's going to be high scoring because, as you guys know, Seattle is very good offensively with all their receiving weapons and with Russell Wilson, the quarterback, doing what he does best. But also, the Niners are going to score a lot of points because the defense of the Hawks also is not very good and not playing well. So either way, it's going to be high scoring, I think, just because of the offensive and defensive side of the Seahawks. But in terms of the game, in terms of the keys of the game, I definitely have to say, especially for the Seahawks in general, is defensively. You got to step up. I mean, if you're just gonna let Jimmy G just take over this game, I don't know what is going to happen. I think that you need to let Jimmy G get pressure on him and make him be frazzled because that will absolutely get him out of his comfort zone and he will not play well as he usually will be. And then offensively, be multidimensional because the advantage in this game is that the Niners, with all the injuries on their side, that I think that they're going to be throwing the ball a lot because they really do not have a real big runner to go to. So they're going to be also throwing the ball a lot. But especially with Homer's going to probably, because he's the one as of right now, because Carson's game time decision, Hyde's doubtful right now. And then Homer, he was confirmed to play just then. So I think he's going to be the main one you're going to rely on. So it's going to be basically, how is he going to be the one who's going to take over Carson's role and play in that role very well? Because he's good at blocking. We all know that. And that was a big part of last game and that final drive. But how he's also going to play is really going to be a big factor.
Well, I think what's going to happen, if I were to guess, DJ Dallas is the only 100% healthy running back that we have. My guess is that he's going to be used primarily in those first and second down situations. Travis Homer will be brought in the obvious third down passing situations because he's the best blocking running back that we have. And I'm sure they don't want to put any extra pressure on that knee than they have to, the bruised knee that he's been dealing with this week. So DJ Dallas, I think this is going to be his breakout game in the sense that he will probably get more carries than he's, would have gotten at any point during the season. So this is a chance for him to really prove what he can do. And he had a good training camp. I was very excited to see what he could do, but we never had seen him except for a couple of runs. So this will be a good test for him to see if he can do something with the ball running it. And if he can establish him and show that he can run the ball and get some yardage, that could change the whole dynamic of how the Seattle offense has to run. Because right now, if it has to be a one-dimensional all-passing situation where they're going to have to get very creative with their receivers, possibly doing more jet sweeps and screens and things like that, just because, we can't just be throwing the ball downfield all day long. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day for Russell if they start dialing up pressure and things like that. Eventually, if you're one-dimensional throwing the ball, it's going to catch up to you. You just can't drop back every single down. It's that's what will happen. Like against Arizona, we had a record number of dropbacks, and unfortunately, he threw just a few too many interceptions. But that'll happen if you're throwing the ball, a ton of times. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's go to Arav. We haven't gotten your take on this game yet. What's your feeling? What is the key? The biggest key for you in terms of Seattle getting the win against 49ers?
Yeah, most definitely the defense really has to step up this game. We don't have that many pieces we don't have some of the best pieces of our secondary active for the game, and I really think that's going to be a big blow to us. And in addition, we did get Carlos Dunlap, but he's not going to be active for this game, so pass rush needs to step up again just for one more game, and then we can probably try and integrate Dunlap into that entire system. On the offense, if we do end up using DJ Dallas ever as a blocker, he wasn't doing great, especially in overtime, blocking against the Cardinals, and that was letting too much pressure to Russ. So DJ Dallas needs to step up if he's ever used as a blocker, and the defense really needs to step up, getting the pressure on the quarterback and also just stopping big plays. But in terms of how the game is going to go, probably a pretty high-scoring game. Again, we do have a high-flying offense, and even though the San Francisco offense is a little banged up, our defense is not that great, especially against the pass.
Right. Yeah, well, the good thing about, I guess, one of the advantages, again, with all the injuries on both sides, it is they're missing a lot in their receivers. Deebo Samuel, I think Brandon Ayuk, and who's the other one? Who's the other receiver that they got still? Rohan?
Kendrick Bourne.
Yes, Bourne. I don't think, and this is Jimmy G's style too, he's not a big, deep threat guy, right? He's not the Russell Wilson throw dimes for 40 yards down the field. The Shanahan offense is the quick throw, get the ball out fast, get them in space, and let them get yards after the catch, which maybe this helps out Seattle in the sense that Trey Flowers, one of his biggest things is he gets burned deep often. Maybe he won't have to be as much on that aspect, and he can play up a little tighter and just try to cover tighter so they can slow down these guys so they don't get so many yards after the catch. Rohan, with the injuries that you have going on, what do you think? Do you expect to see something different with this 49er approach to the game offensively? Do you think are they going to try to run the ball more? Do you think they're going to try to utilize Kittle? What do you think? What do you think is going to be the approach that we have? We've seen 49ers and Seahawks know each other very well, but given the limited weapons that you guys have, do you see any change in their offensive approach in this game?
Not really. Maybe they'll throw the ball deep a few more times than they did against New England. We've been saying that against New England, everyone was saying, oh yeah, well the Niners are going to change their offense, but they really didn't change their offense at all. I feel like we're still going to see a lot of pre-snap motions, since we don't have Samuel, but we still have Ayuk to do all of those jet sweeps and reverses. As far as utilizing Kittle, we'll probably still use him primarily as run blocking. At least that's what I hope, because the more we run, the better off we are.
Right. And I want to welcome Eric has joined the stream. Eric, welcome. I've chatted with you before, and so welcome to the panel. Appreciate you being here. Eric, since you just jumped in, let me get your. We're just kind of breaking this whole thing down. Wanted to see what is your thoughts in terms of who's the key person on. Let's see. On Seattle's defense, who do you think is the most important player who's got to really step up to make a difference in this game?
Well,
on the spot.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Loud and clear.
So I think something that's really important, and it's been talked about a lot, is KJ Wright right now is probably the best player on our defense. With our pass rush not being the best, or it's horrible, it's probably the worst in the league. KJ Wright and, Quentin Dunbar. I don't know that much about Quentin Dunbar. I never really see him play a whole lot. And as good as Shaquille Griffin is, because he does have his games. He does have a lot of great games. He's very on and off. So I would say KJ Wright overall is probably the best guy on our defense.
KJ Wright. And it's a very good chance that KJ Wright could be one of the guys who will be chasing Kittle around. So Kittle is going to be one of those guys I feel like on third down situations when they've got to get a play, get that possession, get that first down. I feel like Kittle is going to be the first guy that Jimmy Garoppolo looks to, even if they run the ball in first or throw to another receiver on second. I feel like third down is going to be the key. And I think KJ Wright, you might be right on that one. You might be right that KJ's got to be the guy to chase him down, get those big hands up, and try to knock that ball out before Kittle can get it and cross the sticks for first down. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Let's find out from Nick. I haven't talked to you in a bit here about this strategy-wise on the game. What's your feeling? Who is the key player outside of Russell Wilson's too obvious? So who do you think is going to be the key player on offense or a position group, whatever you want to take it, but on offense, in order for this game to go well, with certain guys missing or limited, who do you think is going to have to step up on the offensive side?
Offensively, I think it's got to be DK Metcalf. I mean, he had a phenomenal chase down last week. I think he's got to have a great game this week. He's got to be really physical and catch the ball over Jason Verrett, who's had a really good season so far with the rest of the 49ers cornerbacks injured. So I think DK Metcalf, or the wide receiver core in general, I think they're going to have a good game to also kind of bail out the weak running back group, because Chris Carson, who knows if he's going to play. If he doesn't play, then we definitely got to be throwing it to the wide receiver core so they can have a good game.
All right. Yeah, I agree. DK didn't do much last week, although he should have had a touchdown to win the game. Got denied, but he made the play of the game. Everybody's talked about that chasing down of a Buda Baker, like a cheetah chasing down a gazelle, man, hunting his prey. He was just scorching down the field. That was pretty awesome. I wish he could have had the touchdown in that same streaking down the end zone. Would have been a beautiful thing, but maybe he can turn around this time. And I want to welcome Devin to the chat, man. I always love talking to you, brother. Welcome to the show, man. Turn your mic on. Let's go talk about this game. You there?
Going on?
Hey, welcome, man. So Devin, how you feeling about this game? You nervous? What's your going into this? How's your feeling as a Seahawks fan? What's your confidence level that we can get this done?
It's 50-50. It's 50-50. It's not the offense I'm concerned about. It's the defense. The defense, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like
feel like what?
I don't know.
Man, you're not instilling any confidence in here, man. 50-50, and you can't even say a word. Usually you have so much to say, and you're like, yeah, 50-50, and I just come on, man. Come on, bring some hope to this. I feel like this is doomsday here, and we're in first place, 5-1. Come on, man. Give us 12 some hope right here.
our offense is going to have to carry, and I think it's going to be a high-score game just because of how the 49ers run their offense and how they do those like those, I don't know, jet plays with like Debo being out is huge though. So we have to watch out for Brandon Ayuk because even though he's a rookie, he's very explosive from what I've seen. The man can hurdle. He can do everything. The man's just crazy. So, and we got to also watch out for Kittle. But we're going to win. I just think, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. After the Cardinals game, I don't really know now. Like, I don't know how we're going to win it, but we're going to win. Like, yeah, it's 50-50 for me, the confidence-wise. I don't know.
Well, Russell Wilson obviously had a bad game. 3 interceptions. He matched his total for the year in one game, which the last time he had a 3 interception game was 3 years ago. So that doesn't happen very often. And Russell Wilson is the best player when coming off of a loss. He's 31-8, best record in terms of getting a win after a loss. So that part is just reassuring for me. He's studying film and he's going to fix a lot of the things that he knew he made mistakes on, I'm sure.
I already know Russ is going to have a good game. Russ is going to have a good game because their defensive line, as long as is not as great as it could be. So that's what we have to also take advantage of. If our offensive line can hold just long enough, I think Russell can cook. I think Russ is going to cook, and it's going to happen. And I think Jason Verrett being on either DK or Lockett, while if DK's with Jason Verrett, someone's going to have to account for Tyler Lockett. Right. Either one of them is going to have a big game either way, whoever's guarding the other person. So, yeah, this will be a high-score game. I feel good, though. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
All right. You're starting to sound a little more confident now. I appreciate that. Let's go back to our 49er Black Panther man over there on the top right corner, Rohan. Rohan, give me your take on Jimmy Garoppolo this season. He's been injured. He had a really bad game against Miami with a bunch of interceptions, but then he came back and got a couple wins, looked pretty good. He didn't have to do much against the Patriots because the defense kind of did most of the work. But what's your take on Jimmy Garoppolo? I feel like he's all over the map when it comes to the response of from different fans. But how do you feel about him?
He's on off. I mean, if you saw, he was injured against the Dolphins, and the Niners kind of rushed him back there, and it showed. But the last 2 games, I would say he's done pretty well. I mean, I know he threw the 2 interceptions against the Patriots, but one of those interceptions was basically just a Hail Mary throw, so I won't really hold it against him there. Really, as long as we're winning, I'm fine with Garoppolo. I mean, we have, 24-8 record when he's starting. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. So it seems like middle of the road is kind of where he's perceived and kind of where he's at. But that's kind of what Shanahan asks him to do. He doesn't ask him to do too much, just not lose the game for him. I think that's what we got to do. We got to put Garoppolo in a place where he will potentially make the mistake, get uncomfortable, fumble the ball, throw a bad pass, that sort of thing. And obviously, if we can force them somehow to be behind early and put them and get them looking one-dimensional where they're having to throw the ball deeper than desired, that would be ideal. I think we just don't want them to get that running game rolling. Let's see. Let's talk to, I like how you guys are changing your names. Ty Lockett will smoke Verrett. DK will wreck the Niners. Let's go to KC Sports Nerd. This is kind of away from the 49ers Seahawks debate, but who do you feel who are the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now? If you were to sort of evaluate the MVP status, who's first, who's second, and who's third, and why?
Well, obviously, I was going to answer that question in the form of who are the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, but then you rephrased it to the MVP kind of portion of that. So I'm going to focus on that.
I don't know. It's much difference. To me, it still comes the same way. But go ahead. Your top 3 quarterbacks. Let's hear it.
So, first of all, top 3 quarterbacks in the league, in terms of performance have they played? Because Russ has only had one bad game, I'm going to put him at the top because I think that if you're thinking about, especially with, not everyone is perfect. That's just how these quarterbacks play in the NFL, but some of the plays that he's made has definitely put him over the top, and I think he definitely would be my top quarterback right now. But my second one is, I probably would say behind him would probably be, this is a good question. If I had to say between Mahomes and probably, who was I going to say? Jackson. I probably put
Lamar
Mahomes
Jackson.
over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put Mahomes over Jackson because Jackson is probably, I think, Ingram's been injured. He hasn't played a lot. He hasn't really run the ball a lot. And I think that he's mainly the one in terms of running the ball. He's the main one that they're like, he's like been like their main runner. He's run it he's good at it. There's no doubt about that, but he's been like the main one they've been relying on for that. While Patrick Mahomes has basically done what he's done best. And he's also spread out and been a little bit more multidimensional with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, some other runners in there, plus himself running the ball and all those weapons on that side, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, who is injured right now, but some of those other receivers also on that line too. And then my third one, I'd probably put, because he's done what he has done, I'd probably put Jackson, just because Jackson, he's coming off an MVP. He runs the ball like, probably, other than Kyler Murray, who I can see run the ball pretty fast, he's probably the most mobile quarterback in this league. So I definitely put him there just for that.
All right, so you're basically saying Russell first, and then did you put Mahomes second, and then Jackson
Mahomes
third?
Second,
That's what you're basically saying. Kyler Murray somewhere right behind
just
him.
Below that.
Just
below that.
Okay.
In fourth.
All right. I was wondering when his name would come up because he's pretty good. I mean, that guy's probably maybe one of the fastest, twitchiest quarterbacks out there. Given even Lamar Jackson, those guys in a race would be pretty fun to watch. Let's continue that discussion. In a couple minutes here, I'm going to have to reset my Zoom here, but we'll keep it going. Let's go to Nick LeBeau. I mean, I'm guessing that most of the Seahawks fans here are going to say Russell Wilson, unless you have a debate on that. We'll assume that you guys are going to say Russell Wilson on top. Who would be second and third? Nick, your take.
I'm going to actually put Patrick Mahomes at second over Aaron Rodgers. I know it might be kind of a surprise, but Aaron Rodgers has played great against bad teams, but the one time he really played a great defense, he totally choked and he totally sucked. Where Patrick Mahomes had a great game against Baltimore's defense, which is arguably top 5 in the league. So therefore, I'm going to put Mahomes over Rodgers. And then as for number 4, I'll throw in Lamar Jackson. And then number 5, who would be my number 5?
Kyler Murray? No?
Kyler Murray, sure.
Okay, so Russell Wilson first.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes 2, and then Aaron Rodgers number 3. Yeah. Okay, interesting. All right, I won't argue with that. That's a good call. Aaron Rodgers was probably the front runner in most MVPs battling with Wilson, and then he had that terrible game against the Buccaneers, and that's quickly changed his stock value. Let's go to so you change your name to Seahawks O is greater than the 49ers D. Let's get your take on there.
Yeah, sure. I haven't heard this name said yet, but I would definitely say that Brady is kind of experiencing an increase in performance, and I think he's just slowly climbing up there and just creeping in. Now, Lamar Jackson is great, and I don't think he has had like an outstanding game yet. But that's at least my perspective. So, and maybe until that Rodgers game against Tampa Bay, I would put Wilson and Rodgers like 1 and 2. But I'm gonna go with Wilson number 1. I'll say Mahomes number 2. Rodgers number 3, and then Brady number 4. I know Brady's thrown some pick sixes, but I think he's getting better.
Okay. Cameron Hughes, your top quarterbacks.
Obviously, number 1 is going to be Russell Wilson. And then number 2, I would probably say Patrick Mahomes. And then 3, probably Aaron Rodgers. But then 4, probably not a name you're expecting like at all, but Ryan Tannehill has played really good. I think he's thrown 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, like a 70% completion percentage. So he's played extremely well this season.
He has. He's my fantasy quarterback, so I've been rooting for him all season so far. Yeah, I don't know if I put him in top 3 though, but he's definitely in easily top 10, maybe even top 5. All right, let's go to Rohan in the mask. Rohan, what's your top quarterbacks so far this season?
I missed out on. I was doing my homework.
All right, well, I'm putting you on the spot. Top quarterbacks. You can list the top 3 or maybe top 4 in the league so far.
Well, as much as I hate to do it, I'll have Wilson at 1, Rodgers at 2. I'm trying to decide between Mahomes and Tannehill for 3 and 4. Just because I'm salty about Super Bowl 54, I'll say Tannehill 3 and Mahomes 4. And I'll just say Kyler Murray at 5 and Brady at 6. There you go.
All right. Quick and easy. Let's see. You got a minute left before I have to reset this thing. Who have I not asked yet? Eric, you're top 5 or top 4.
If the Zoom crashes while I'm talking, can you put it in the Discord? Okay.
I'll just reset it and you guys keep going. But go ahead and give me your top 3 quarterbacks.
Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna go with Big Ben as my 3rd because
I was wondering when somebody would say that. Yeah.
A pretty good season. I don't know. I would put past there. Kyler Murray's been doing really good. Obviously, he destroyed us last.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to reset this meeting here, and we'll get everybody back. All right. So, yeah, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo nowhere near that list, but he doesn't have to be. I mean, he's one of those guys that just, he just does what the system requires him to, and if he just doesn't make too many mistakes, he can win a ball game. That's kind of the way the system works for him. Shanahan's got a good system where they can plug and play quarterbacks, plug and play running backs, and I can't say they plug and play anybody. I mean, we saw how badly they were when Jimmy G wasn't in there. They played Philadelphia, so they can't plug and play everything. You can definitely have a major drop off, but. This game definitely makes me nervous. I want to open this up to the people in the chat watching. If you guys have questions you want to ask, just put them out there in the chat, and I'll try to look over here and see what you guys have, and we'll try to answer some of your random questions for the panel or for myself. I think we got almost everybody back who we had earlier. Yes. Okay. All right. So we get back to the Zoom. All right, you guys. Whoops. Where's the Zoom at? There we go. All right, you guys are back here. So I think I got all of your answers in there before time ran out. So, okay, let's see. Any questions that we have here that people got? Roman, who is a 49er fan, wants to know, how do you feel about my Niners defense with all of our injuries? All right, let's tackle that one. Devin, let me go back to you, man. What scares you the most, I guess, with this defense? Because, they don't have Nick Bosa, which obviously is a big sort of relief to not have him right there in the front line. But they got some of the best linebackers, arguably, out there. Secondary's banged up. No Richard Sherman. They got, so they're lower in the depth there. But what makes you the most nervous about this defense? Because we got such a great offense.
Right.
But we're missing the running component. If we didn't have injured running backs, I'd feel like, man, we're going to go to town. It's just that aspect. So what makes you nervous? Who and what aspect of that defense makes you the most nervous when you see those guys over in gold and white on the other side?
For me, their linebackers are really nice. Fred Warner, Greenlaw, they're top notch this year. They're playing really good football. And also their safety duo, I think it's like Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tart. They're playing good too. So I say it would be their safeties and their linebackers we have to watch out for, because if Russ could make the same mistake as last week with smarter linebackers. So he's everywhere. Fred Warner is probably top 3 linebacker in the league right now. So we just got to watch out for him because he's very smart.
Right.
And he's going to be. So. Yeah,
right.
Because defensive line's not, I wouldn't say it's that big. There's not their strength this year. Like last year, they had it. And with injury, it's a little down. So I would say that they're linebackers for sure.
All right. Let's see. Other questions we have here. Keep them coming if you guys have questions. I want to get a sense. Let's see. What do you think about, we made some moves after we could not rush the quarterback against Arizona. Then Seattle goes and makes a move against Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals, which I think is completely amazingly awesome. What's your guys' thoughts? Lewis, let's go to you. KC Sports Nerd, since you're an AFC guy, probably somewhat familiar with the Bengals. What do you think about that move?
Well, first of all, I think you need to mention the fact that I think of all the guys in Cincinnati who wanted to stay, I think he was actually one of the guys who would have wanted to stay there, actually. I think that that team, if they just drafted, a bunch of guys on offense, including their rookie quarterback. Quarterback Joe Burrow, and other guys on there. But I was a little bit surprised when he actually was traded, just because I thought he was one of those guys who wanted to stay there. But especially, I remember your stream with what's his name, Ace, this past week, when he was talking about this argument that I think it was like this argument that he had on the sideline, if I can recall correctly, which led into him getting into an argument with one of his, I think it was one of his coaches or players. I can't exactly remember. And then
I think it was with the coaches, yeah.
With the coach. And then it eventually led him from the move to being traded. And I think that it was just a little bit surprising. I didn't think that was going to lead to that. Excuse me. I didn't think that was going to lead to him being traded just because of that. But I think of all the guys who probably could have stayed there, he was definitely one of those guys who I thought was easily going to want to stay there.
Yeah, you got to watch my video that I did, my collab video with Ace, the new Stripe City, our collab yesterday, and he had some behind the scenes info about how that trade went down, and it's shocking what they did to him, because he sounded like a guy who was there for life. He wanted to be there and was all about winning and playing, and he's been consistent, he's been productive, and for whatever reason, they just did not feel the same way about playing him. And so I think we're getting a great guy. Granted, he's 31 years old, but I think he's going to be huge for us. Nick, what do you think? How excited were you when we found out that we got Carlos Dunlap?
I think I was more excited when I saw the player we were getting and the player we were giving up. BJ Finney, who we signed with high expectations, ended up not only losing the job to Ethan Posick, but also I think in camp he lost it to Kyle Fuller, and he was actually running with the third team. And I don't remember how much we were paying him. I think like $5 million, something around there. And you don't pay a guy that much to lose to the second string guy and third string guy. And then a 7th round pick for a guy that in 2019 was super productive. Do I think he's going to fix the problem of our pass rush? No, but I think he'll be a nice addition and a good help to getting pressure on the quarterback. And I can't wait to see him on the field next week.
Next week against the Bills should be his debut. I wasn't sure because I don't know him that well, but the more I looked at it and the more I saw his stats, his productivity, and from one game to the next, he's been playing for 10 seasons. And what I love about it is the fact that this guy rarely misses games. So he's dependable. He's solid. You can count on him to be there, and his lowest sack total is higher than our best sack total of any individual last year. So in his worst season, he's better than anything we had last year. So, and in his best season, he had 13.5. So if he's anywhere in between that, I mean, that's going to be impactful. I don't care, what we got going. That's going to be a boost. That's going to help. So we definitely got reinforcements coming. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it in time for this game, but maybe the next game when we hit the road against Buffalo.
Well, we'll need him for the Bills.
All right, so we've got a couple of, at least I think one Niners fan in here. I hope I'm not going to regret this decision, bringing him in here. His name's Nicholas. Nicholas, are you there? Pop on your microphone, and you got a camera as well, or just only audio?
Only audio.
Okay, that's fine. So Nicholas is a 49er fan. Tell us a little bit, where are you from? Are you from the Bay Area, or where are you watching from?
I'm from Maryland. Actually, I'm on the other side.
Okay, so 49er fan over in Maryland. How did you end up in here? I'm just curious how you even found this stream.
I've known your channel for a while, but I never really went into your streams or whatever. So I checked it out, and I was like, oh, hey, he has a Zoom. So I just emailed you, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll join.
I saw that.
It's a game matchup and stuff, with both of our teams. It's going to be a nice game.
I'm going to get your take on this. So, we had Rohan, who gave us a little insight as the other 49er fan in here, but since you make the second one, give me your overall sort of bird's eye view on how you see this game going, given all the injuries, given what you don't have and what you do have. How is the San Francisco 49ers expecting to get a win in this game? How are they going to do it?
I think it's going to be a close game. In my personal opinion, because both of the teams, the Niners, they have a weird offense and they have a weird defense right now because of all the injuries, obviously. And the Seahawks, they have their defense is kind of, I don't know what to really say, but aren't they injured, or are they
The Seahawks defense? I can tell you what I can say about the Seattle defense. They're in last place. They're the worst defense in the league, and we just lost our best cornerback to in a secondary that is the worst in pass defense. We're actually not horrible against the run, but we're last in pass defense, and thus we are last in terms of giving up yards. So that's a bit concerning. To say the least.
It is, yeah.
A bit concerning. That's very concerning.
Very concerning. It's been concerning all year, but luckily we've had Russell Wilson bailing out the defense, scoring just enough points to be ahead of the defense.
That's why your games are really high scoring, because both of the teams, well, some of them are high scoring, but both of the teams are just going out at each other, points after points. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so let me talk to Cameron. We haven't talked to you in a while here about this. Let me see, how can we go on this? What's the next thing we can, how we break this down? I guess we can get into who's the key guy on defense for Seattle? Who's going to have to really step up and be a hero in this game? I don't think I asked you that question yet.
I think the obvious choice is Trey Flowers, because he's going to have to start. And he's played horrible this year. So, and he's going to have to go up against Brandon Ayuk, I think, or Kendrick Bourne. So, yeah, he can't play like he did earlier in the season.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and really since, not just earlier this season, I haven't seen Trey Flowers do anything good. Every time I see him out there, I'm just like, oh God, here we go. What are we gonna mess this time? Who are we gonna let get behind you? Who are we gonna let get in front of you and then miss a tackle and watch him run by and have to get tackled by safety? That's what I don't want to see tomorrow. But you're right. We do need Trey Flowers to be better than he's been, because he was great. I think he played really well in his rookie year, and I've expected great things after that. But for some reason, it's just not been quite there. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but he gives too much cushion, so the easy slants and outs are wide open. They get 8 yards before he finally touches them, and then when they go deep, he gets beat deep. So I don't know, nothing's really working where I'm going. This guy's got this working. It's like it's beaten on the short, he gets beat over the top. So And
Ever since he switched his number.
Yeah, that's what it is. It was the number switch thing. It's been jinxed, so he's got to find a way to. He's got to go, go to some kind of, some kind of medium, go down to New Orleans and have them do some black magic stuff and voodoo stuff and get him all straight. You know what I mean? But anyway, we got one day to get it fixed, so we'll see what happens. We haven't talked to Dre World here. Dre World, are you with us? And I don't know if you're a Seahawks fan or a 49er fan.
Hello.
Hey Dre, well, what's your name? Is it Dre, or is it something totally different?
Hold on 1 second. It's Andrew.
Andrew. Okay, Andrew. And are you a Seahawks fan? Andrew?
Yeah.
You're a Seahawks fan. Okay, all right. So, are you nervous about this game? What do you think? How's this gonna go for tomorrow?
Well, I don't expect a lot from our defense because we don't know about Jamal yet. Shaq is out. I don't know who else. I didn't read the report. Isn't Homer going to be here?
Shaquille Griffin is out. Travis Homer looks like he's going to be able to play. Chris Carson's a game-time decision. Jamal Adams is a game-time decision. So that much we know.
Our run game isn't going to be that good. I think we're going to pass more or use. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
There's a lot of concern. I hear a lot of doubt in all the Seahawks fans' voices. A lot of injuries
in this game.
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Yep.
Everybody on the 49ers is basically out.
Well, not everybody. They got a couple of good linebackers in there, really? and they've got some guys still. They got the best tight end in the game still hanging around in there. So that's we're gonna have to worry about him. So, yeah, George Kittle. I think linebackers. I see if Jamal Adams was in the game, I have a feeling he'd be in there helping cover Jamal Adams. But I think it's KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner. One of those two guys is going to have to be the one. And we do have who's our Jordan Brooks, our linebacker. He's here, and he had a pretty good game last game, and now he's got some a little more experience under his belt. He's quick. We'll see what he can do. Hopefully, and I think he's going to be key in stopping the run as well. We got to make sure that if San Francisco gets the running game rolling, that's going to be bad. Anytime any team gets their running game going, it pretty much makes all other options open up, right? So we've got to stop the run, force Jimmy G to throw the ball, and then take advantage of those situations.
And just to add, just sorry to interrupt, but just to add to the injury side of things, we were just saying, especially with Homer there, we also Benson Mayowa is also questionable for tomorrow. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Yes, I know, which is a bummer, just because we need every lineman that we can get. And so just to add to that, in an already thin line, with reinforcements not getting here in time, we're going to have to make do with what we got, duct tape and bubble gum and whoever else is left to try to get this game to go. So guys are going to have to step up and play better than they have, and just enough. And Russell Wilson's going to have to be MVP style this week, man. He's got to turn it around and just be lights out. And I think he will.
Sorry to interrupt. I believe we what did they call that? We brought up Steven Sullivan, who's also a tight end / D end. Yeah. So, and I don't think he'll get snaps at tight end. I think he'll get more snaps at D end. So, I think him being brought up is just a reinsurance just in case Benson Mayowa can't go. So, that's
thus the duct tape and bubblegum analogy that I was just talking about. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, Pete Carroll was asked about that question. They asked him, so what about this conversion of this tight end to defensive end in Steven Sullivan? He said, he's kind of coming along, and to that point where I feel like he can rush the passer. And I'm thinking, really? Is it that easy? Just like, hey man, I know you're used to catching balls and stuff, but put the ball down. We're gonna put you on this side, and your job is to get from here to there and see that guy with the ball. You're gonna try to hit him. No problem. You just got to get past some of the biggest linemen, out here, and you got to have some techniques and all this stuff. I mean, pass rushers don't grow on trees. That's why they're like the second highest paid players on a team, right? And we're gonna have one that we just sort of put together, converted from a tight end. I don't know, man. I'm excited and curious to see how that experiment goes. Wouldn't that be funny if Steven Sullivan gets like 2 sacks? He's like our leading sacker with 2, and he's not even playing that position. That would be hilarious. All right. Well, I think let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions from the chat? You guys have any other questions you're dying to ask that I haven't asked yet? Roman Sargis, I think he's a 49er guy, says, "Did you forget we have Kinlaw?" Yeah, I know. When will Jamal be back? Ryan wants to know. Jamal could be back tomorrow. He could be back tomorrow, so we'll see. If Jamal plays, he won't be as good as week 1, so we're kind of screwed. Well, we'll see. I don't know if anyone's playing as healthy as they are in game 1. Well, let's see. We got a couple other people we haven't spoken to yet. Let's talk to Archan.
Oh yeah, no, I have to go now.
You got to go. All right. Well, let's go. Former player Rohan, player formerly known as Mouse Cop. Let me since you got to go. Let's get a score prediction from you, Rohan.
In my cousin's betting league, I chose the Seahawks. But just
you chose
in the name
the Seahawks.
content,
Okay.
but in the name of content here, because I'm on a Seahawks channel, and you expect me to choose the Niners, I will say the Niners.
No, you don't have to choose the Niners. You can choose who you really think is going to win the game. And if you said on a betting thing, the money's put down, you're putting on the Seahawks. What did you have then for the Seahawks? I'll stick with that. You got the Seahawks winning this game.
I would say 28-21.
2021. So Rohan, though, the one of 2 49er fans in here, actually gives the Seahawks the edge 29-21. I gotta get Nicholas' response to that. How does that make you feel, man? Your 49er fan here is not even giving Seattle a touchdown win here, 28-21. Yeah, what do you got?
I mean, I guess that's reasonable, but I still, obviously, since I'm a 49ers fan, I still see the Niners somehow winning this. Maybe by a touch. I think it's by a field goal. I'm gonna just say that right now. So my final score 31-28.
Niners.
Yes, Niners.
Okay. All right. Let's go around the horn since we are in score mode. Let's go with Devin. Devin, man, give me your score prediction for the game.
I think it's gonna be a high score game. So I'm going to say Seahawks 31, if that's possible. I believe.
Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah. Anything is possible.
31. 49ers 24.
All right, Seattle by a touchdown.
Yeah.
31-24. All right, let's go to our Kansas City Chiefs fan, Lois, this KC Sports Nerd. What score do you got here?
So for this game, my score prediction is, again, I have a high scoring game, but I got in this game Niners in an upset, 34-21.
34-21. That's like 2 touchdowns, bro.
Defense is not going to play well, I don't think. I think that run game
I totally agree with you, dude.
No, because I think I'm basing
Nicholas,
my score
you don't
prediction
totally agree
off
because in your thing, you barely had 49ers winning by a field goal, but now you agree with KC Sports with 2 touchdowns. Where was this belief before KC spoke up, man? No, I know what you're saying. Yeah. The defense could potentially be a problem here, but yeah, okay, all right. That's why we do this. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But all right, what'd you say? It was 34-21. Is that what you said? 13-point win by the 49ers.
34-21.
I don't like you anymore. Let's go to the next. Let's go to Nick LeBeau. Nick, score prediction.
I have Seattle barely winning it by a late field goal as time expires, 33-30.
Okay. All right. Another field goal difference. Cameron Hughes.
I have the Seahawks winning 37-29.
37-29. Okay. In a 1 touchdown, 8-point, right? 37-29. Yeah. 8-point difference. Okay. That is getting up there in high scoring. How about Tyler Lockett is, what is it? Tyler Lockett is a tight window monster. Remind me of your real name again?
Arav.
Arav. Okay, Arav, what's your score prediction?
My score prediction. I'm going to stick true to the fact that I had a very high scoring game. Prediction, I'm going to go with Seahawks 38-33.
38-33, 5-point win. Okay. Archan, let's go with you.
Hi. I would probably say the Seahawks are going to win by probably a touchdown, 38-31.
38-31.
Mainly because I think it's going to be, I wouldn't have thought it would be much closer if I knew that Shaquem Griffin would be playing, because he's been a big part in the defense as guarding people man-to-man. Sometimes he's had a good game, sometimes he hasn't. I think he was a big reason the Patriots couldn't really get that deep into the red zone when they were playing. And also, I had a question. So, do you guys think that the run game for the 49ers will still be good? Because they have a decent offensive line, and they have Kittle, who is a pretty good blocker, and he could make some good blocks and open up windows. And they've lost a lot of their running backs, but they still have Brandon Ayuk, who could possibly play as a running back, because they've been using him in the backfield sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, those are all good points. Kittle can block. That's one of the things I really like about him is that he can block. I admire any tight ends that can block. We got a couple of tight ends that can block as well, but he can also catch the hell out of the ball. Versatile players. That's the one thing about the Shanahan offense is that the running game is not limited to just running backs. They get those receivers involved in essentially like long handoffs. They might be in the form of
such as
jet
Debo.
sweeps.
Yeah, Debo does that a lot.
Yeah, but Debo's out.
Yeah,
right?
I know. That's the sad part. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank goodness for us. I mean, just because the injuries are sort of weighing each other out there. Let's see who else. Who have I not asked yet for a score prediction? Did I not talk to Dre World? Did you not give us a score prediction yet? Dre World, you still there?
I'll say, I said 35-31, I think.
I did get yours already. Okay, all right. I know you missed somebody. I think BJ, maybe BJ.
No, you didn't get mine.
I did not get yours. Okay, 35-31. Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, and I know I got Nicholas's because he said field goal, and then he decided to say, no, I do like that 13-point difference that KC Sports Nerd said, but I know I got his. BJ, did I talk to you yet?
No.
All right, BJ, you got a camera there?
No, it's broken for now.
Okay, that's all right. We'll just go with sound. So, BJ, Seahawks fan, I assume?
Yeah.
All right. Can you give me a score prediction for this game tomorrow?
I think it's going to be like 28-31. It's just anyone can really win, but hopefully the Seahawks win. Yeah.
All right. 31-28, I think is what you said, Seahawks. So, for my money, I'm sticking with what I predicted before the start of the season. I think what I say 30-26, or did I say 31-26? I think 30-26 in my prediction video. I think I said 30-26, a 4-point close game, one-score game. We'll see if that stays true. It might be higher than this, but I don't know. I have this feeling. I just have this feeling after last game. I think Seattle's going to correct a few things. I think for sure Russell Wilson will correct some things, and despite the fact that our running game is decimated, and the initial onset look is like, they're not going to be able to run the ball. Somehow Seattle will find a way to run the ball. And whether that's Russell Wilson running it himself a little bit more often, getting some of the receivers involved in the run game, and making DJ Dallas, I just think the line's been playing pretty well. Nobody's talking about the Seattle offensive line, who I think has been the surprise this year, giving Wilson enough time and, opening holes up for the most part. Well, at least definitely when Chris Carson's run the ball. I'm excited to see what DJ Dallas can do. We haven't seen it, so it's like breaking out the new car out of the garage and firing it up, and let's just take this baby for a ride, let's see what we can do. So I'm excited about that, to just see these new players, in a role that they haven't seen yet. That means 49ers don't know what he looks like either, so they don't know what to expect. Is he a north-south runner? Does he have good lateral quickness? Does he, explode through the hole? And we're going to find that out real quick here. So, I guess on that part, I'm pretty excited. But the Russell Wilson factor definitely is the calming presence that I feel like when I start setting myself into panic mode and thinking about, oh man, the defense this and injuries this and no running backs there. I keep remembering that Russell Wilson has managed to find ways to do more with less. And I just feel like tomorrow it's going to be a good bounce back game for him. So it'll still be tight, but hopefully we come up on the victorious side. All right, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? Andy, I'll leave it open to the panel now. If there's any burning questions or topics of conversation you guys wanted to get into before, other than this game?
Yeah. I saw a really good question in the chat. It asked me if Dan Quinn was overrated.
Oh, okay. Is Dan Quinn overrated?
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's a good question. Well, let's open it to the panel. Devin, thoughts? I guess the question people are asking is Dan Quinn, because there's been a lot of people saying fire Ken Norton, and maybe we should put it in this context. Do you think the problem with the Seattle defense, is it the talent or lack thereof, or is it the coaching, henceforth the defensive coordinator? And is firing Norton and getting somebody like Dan Quinn back in here the solution? Devin, I'll take it to you. What do you think about that as sort of a one big concept? What do you think about our defense? And is it players or coaching? And can it be solved like that?
I think it is. I think it's players. Because some of the our players are getting there, but we don't finish plays. The lack of sacks is us not finishing plays. We touch the quarterback every time, but then we can never wrap the quarterback up. So I think Ken Norton's calling, like some of his calls here and there are like questionable, right? But when it comes to executing the plays, we're not getting there. LJ Collier is so close to getting the quarterbacks most of the time, but then he just can't finish. And Benson Mayowa, he should have probably at least 2 more sacks than he does now. Jaron Reed, an example, could have had, I think, a safety last week on Kyler Murray, because he had Kyler Murray in the end zone and just let him go. And so I think the players need to step up. But at the same time, I don't know. I just think give Ken Norton this year to like figure it out, and if it doesn't work by the end of the year, like the end result, see how it turns out, how it all turns out, and then we can decide then. But I think for now, the defensive line just needs to step up. That's why I'm excited for Carlos Dunlap and Snacks Harrison to be back tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, my bad. Next week.
Next week. Yeah.
I'm so excited for that, because we get some much needed run defense and pressure too. So I think it's the players. They just need to step up.
All right. I agree. It feels like this. If this was like a war movie, like a Lord of the Rings or something, this is where you feel like all the humans they're fighting, and then all the creatures are like pushing down the door, and they're like, "Come on, we gotta hold it! The elves are coming! They're just like over that hill. We gotta just hold the fort another second." And Helm's Deep, and if they could hold it one more week, that we'll have all this extra help to kind of shore up the defense. But we got to hang in here and not find ourselves in an 0-2 hole in the division. Let's ask. Tyler Lockett is a tight window monster. Talent or coaching? What's the problem with the defense?
I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's definitely a mix of both. Like Devin, I think some of the play calling is a little questionable, but we have to make tackles, not just necessarily pressuring the QB and getting a sack, just making tackles after receivers have caught the ball. I remember, I think it was either the Cowboys game or the Patriots game. I'm pretty sure it was the Cowboys game. Either Cedric Wilson or Michael Gallup had caught the ball, and one of our safeties, I'm pretty sure it was Quandre Diggs, had a chance to bring him down, and he just couldn't do it.
Right.
And I think from that moment on, I'm like, can we make tackles? Is like we're not trying. Well, not per se we're not trying, but we're not able to get.
They're not executing. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
executing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing is that the coach's job is to take the people you have and put them in the best position to succeed. And once that happens, it's kind of like then they just have to go and execute the play. And you could drop the perfect play and go, okay, this guy takes this guy takes this guy, you cover this guy, this guy, you got to get here. And if all that works to perfection, theoretically the play should work. But at some point, you've got one-on-ones. This guy against your guy, and you've got to get the block, or you got to get past him, or you got to cover him. And if he beats you, you lose that battle. The play falls apart. And I think we've definitely seen some missed tackles, some missed opportunities. But I will cite, for an example, that game against in the closing moments of the Cardinals game. I'm sure all of you felt as soon as they missed the Cardinals missed the field goal in overtime, we were going to win that game. Right? We got the ball at like the 40-yard line or something, and all we have to do is go like 25 yards, and we're in easy field goal range, something like that, 25, 30 yards. And how can Russell not do that, right? And so if you're Arizona, you know that. And what did they do? They mixed it up. They didn't just play, let's rush three and drop everybody in coverage. Because if you do that, Wilson's going to just stand all day. Look. Eventually Lockett or DK is going to break free. But what did they do? They put everybody up there, make it look like a casino blitz. Everybody on the line of scrimmage. So it looks like there's 10 guys on there. And of course, then having no Travis Homer was a big part of that game. But it confused Russell. It confused the running back. Some of the line, they did what they had to do, but there was one guy unaccounted for, and we couldn't pick him up. And that's why Russ was under pressure, could not make the throws, and forced him to hurry throws and got picked off as a result, and ended up costing the game. Well, actually, not costing the game. We did get a pass for a touchdown, and the holding call cost us the game. But in the other parts of that, outside of that play, they got pressure on him in a way that they just mixed it up. And I thought we got outcoached at those moments, because if you were to bet money on it, Seattle could not respond to the defensive plan that they came up with at that moment, versus the other way around. Kyler Murray had no resistance whatsoever. We were only rushing three, dropping everybody. And what they do, just 5 yards here, 10 yards here, 12 yards here, 15 yards here, kick the field goal, win the game. So that ain't going to work, especially against San Francisco, where they make a killing off of those 10-yard pass plays. So they've got to change something up. That's my only thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely the play calling against Arizona.
And that's coaching. And that does come to the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's props to the defensive coordinator for making it look like that. Because 9 times out of 10, Russell is that great of a quarterback that he is going to convert, possibly even get a touchdown in those situations. But this time, it just didn't happen. And you could say part of that is due to the holding call. Part of that was because of Russell's bad read on that final interception. But the way they were playing that defense, that was something special. I actually have to head out now. So
okay, all right, no problem. Just tip your hat and head out. Thanks for joining this. I appreciate it. We are going to wrap this up in just a couple minutes here. Let's see. Good.
All right,
comment.
thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for being over here, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Elaine McCollum, one of the mods, said, yeah, they will use David Moore on jet sweeps. I have a feeling they will. Probably a lot of bubble screens too, which are essentially kind of like long run plays, because they're getting the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Some screen passes, maybe we'll see. She also said we need some more KJ suplexing Kittle again. yeah, we need to put him on his backside for sure when he gets the ball. That was a great play when we played him on that final game of the season last year when we almost won. All right, so just a couple minutes here just to wrap things up. Who hasn't answered that question yet? I asked Devin about it. Nick, about the problems with the defense. Nick LeBeau, your take on, is this a player problem or a coaching problem, Seattle defense?
I think it's both. There have been, like Devin said, there have been plays that Ken Norton Jr. has completely gaffed on, and it's obvious. There's also been a lot of plays where we, like Devin said, haven't finished the job and haven't gotten the sack or gotten the tackle. But when you look at it, do I think we should fire him now? No, not at all. Because when you look at it, our linebacker core is top 5. in the league when healthy. And our secondary is assumingly top 10 in the league when healthy. We haven't necessarily seen them 100% healthy. And the only problem is our defensive line, but the lack of pressure to the quarterback is really just pulling down our entire defense and their production, because if we had a good defensive line, it would really stand out. And our secondary linebacker core, they'd play great, and our defense would be top 15 in the league. But you also have to look at why we don't have a lack of pressure, and it's definitely the personnel. It's or the players, yeah. Benson Mayowa, I mean, yeah, I guess he's solid, but not as arguably your second best defensive lineman. He's more of that like guy that can come in, sub in. Jaron Reed, who we thought was going to have a good year. He had one in not last year, but 2018. Then he was suspended last year, had high hopes for this year, hasn't really panned out. And Poona Ford's had a solid year. Then, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on LJ Collier. He hasn't gotten to the quarterback, but like Devin said, he's gotten his hand on him. He's like he should be bringing him down. I think with the addition of Carlos Dunlap, it's really going to help our defense of line and our defense as a whole. Like I said earlier, it won't fix the problem, but it'll definitely help. And I think these guys are really going to step up in this game because they know that John Schneider will bring in other guys to bump up the defensive line and bump up the defense in general. And honestly, as of right now, their jobs are at risk from bringing in another guy, and boom, that easy like that, their jobs are gone. Well, so I do think it's a bit of both.
I think Dunlap comes in and he becomes the guy who gets to give Mayowa some rotational help. Because part of the problem too is, when I think back, that team of 2013 that won the Super Bowl, we had two so deep that we had two starting defensive lines that were both equally good. We can rotate one and give them a break, and you put the next one in, and they hardly had a drop off. It was amazing, but we could afford that back then because Russell Wilson was only making, a few $100,000 compared to what he's making now. So we don't have secondary. That. Yeah,
I think also a problem on our defense is secondary depth, because it's like you have Shaquille Griffin, Quentin Dunbar. And then after that, it's like this huge drop off to Trey Flowers, and then Lyndon Stevens. I think, I don't know who the other guy is, but yeah, you look at like 2013 and 14. We had like a huge depth. Jeremy Lane was down there, and yeah.
Well, guys, time is just about to run out here. So I want to thank everybody who was on the panel today. And there they go. So thank you guys for being on this. We'll do this again for sure, and we'll figure out more ways to get people in the show. It's hard to get everybody in here, but I'll do this more often. Just it's fun to hear back from the fans and just get your guys' take on what's going on with the Seahawks and our upcoming opponents. So appreciate you guys being on here, and for everybody else who was in the chat and watching this, thank you for being part of the show. I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow, the game at 1:25 Pacific time, I will be going live with my dad as usual, doing our live stream game reactions at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And join us tomorrow, whether you're watching the game on your TV or can't watch the game and want to keep up through our reactions. We'll give you just a different alternate perspective from a Seahawks fan as we react to the good and the bad and the ugly in this game. Hopefully there's more good than bad and ugly against the 49ers. We're going to need that. All right, so that's it, guys. I do have a couple more videos coming out later today. I've got a Rivals video that I'm working on with Chrysostomo and NorbCam, so that will be coming out a little bit later this afternoon. And I'm going to squeeze in my usual weekly Madden simulation of the Seahawks-49ers game. So we'll look for those coming out a little bit later today. I know we got Halloween as well, so for all you kids who are going to be trick-or-treating, stay safe out there, and watch for my videos sometime today. You can check them out if I get them done before trick-or-treating hour, which is coming up soon. But if not, you can watch them afterwards when you're eating all your candy. You can get a sugar high. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Halloween, and go Hawks.